today's topic is anti-hyperlipidemics. What is anti-hyperlipidemics? Hyper means increase. Hyper means increase. Increase in levels of lipids means cholesterol levels, or it may be triglycerides, is known as hyperlipidemics. Hyperlipidemics means there is an increase in cholesterol level, is known as hyperlipidemics. Definition is a condition in which there is an increase in blood lipid levels is called as hyperlipidemics. Next, increase HDL levels. It means HDL is a good cholesterol. HDL acts as a good cholesterol. That means it decreases the heart problem. Decreases the heart problems, angina and myocardial infarctions. Whereas coming to LDL, VLDL, triglycerides and total cholesterol increases the heart problems. It is a very bad cholesterol. Whereas compared to HDL. Classification of anti-hyperlipidemics involves drugs decreases levels of endogenous lipids. Hyperlipidemics are two types, endogenous lipids and exogenous lipids. Endogenous lipids are synthesized in liver, whereas coming to exogenous lipids are given through food. HMG in the drugs decrease levels of endogenous lipids involves HMG-CoA reductase inhibitors. In that first one, statins. Drugs involved is fluvastatins, atorvastatin, simvastatin, pravastatin and lovastatin. In that second one is fibrates. Drugs involved in this fibrates are fenofibrates and gemofibrates. Next, niacin. Niacin acts as a nicotinic acid. These are the classification of anti-hyperlipidemics which are involved in endogenous lipids. And drugs decreases levels of exogenous lipids. Exogenous lipids means which are given through food, through oral route. Exogenous lipids obtained from food. Lipids means cholesterol level, which are increased the cholesterol level in the blood. Cholesterol absorption inhibitor. In that first one, cholesterol absorption inhibitor involves the drug is ezetimibe. Next, bile acid sequestering. In that drugs involved cholesavalol, cholestyramine and cholestyramine. These are the drugs involved in anti-hyperlipidemics. Next, mechanism of action of HMG-CoA reductase inhibitors. It is called as statins. Drugs involved in this is atorvastatin, fluvastatin, simvastatin, etc. HMG-CoA reductase means what is the full form of HMG? 3-hydroxymethyl coenzyme. These are hydroxymethyl glutarate coenzyme reductase inhibitor. It reduces the lipid levels. It decreases the lipid levels, that means cholesterol levels, commonly known as statins. It lowers the LDL cholesterol level resulting in a substantial reduction in the coronary artery disease, coronary heart disease. It decreases the heart problems. Okay. Hyperlipidemics is one of the topic in cardiovascular system, so it decreases the heart problem. HMG-CoA reductase inhibitor mechanism of action is it activates acetyl-CoA, which is involved in the lipid metabolism, lipid, fat and protein metabolism. acetyl-CoA, which is involved in the HMG-CoA reductase inhibitor, involves the lipid, fat and protein metabolism. It liberates HMG-CoA. Undergo HMG-CoA reductase, it forms malonic acid and forms a cholesterol. Here what happened? HMG-CoA reductase inhibitor act here, so that it binds to the HMG-CoA reductase. It blocks the HMG-CoA reductase. So it does not convert to the HMG-CoA to the malonic acid. So no formation of cholesterol. Okay, acetate-CoA, which is present in the lipids, fat and protein metabolism, undergoes HMG-CoA. In the presence of HMG-CoA reductase, it forms malonic acid and forms the cholesterol. But these drugs like fluvastatin, atorvastatin, simvastatin, statins, all the statins will inhibit the HMG-CoA reductase, so that no conversion of HMG-CoA to the malonic acid and does not form cholesterol. So decrease in levels of cholesterol. It decreases the hyperlipidemia action. This is the mechanism of action. Next, pharmacokinetics involved in statins. Pravastatin and simvastatin well absorbed orally. It is taken through oral route of administration. Whereas coming to simvastatin and atorvastatin, they require some energy. That means some enzymes to absorb. It does not absorb orally. It is somewhat difficult to administer. Next, they undergo first pass metabolism. These drugs undergo first pass metabolism. It is excreted through bile and feces. Urinary excretion is very small amount of urinary excretion. Decreased urinary excretion. It increases the excretion through bile and feces only. Its half-life is 1.5 to 2 hours. The drug is in the body is about 1.5 to 2 hours. Next, adverse effects in liver and in muscles. Adverse reactions involves in liver and the muscles. In liver, it forms a SGOT and SGPT. These two are proteins which are present in the liver. SGOT means serum glutamate oxaloacetate transferase. Whereas coming to SGPT, SGPT is a serum glutamate pyruvate transferase. They increases these two levels, SGPT and SGOT increases and causes hepatic insufficiency. That means liver damage. They increase and cause liver damage. These two enzymes increased in the liver and causes hepatic insufficiency and causes drug accumulation. Hepatic insufficiency means there is a accumulation of drugs in the liver, so it causes liver damage. In muscles, what happened? Myopathy. Myopathy means muscle degeneration. Myopathy and rhabdomyolysis. Rhabdomyolysis means breakdown of skeletal muscles. These are the in muscles adverse drug reaction. Breakdown of skeletal muscles. Adverse drug reactions involves in liver and in muscles. In muscles, it causes myopathy. Myopathy is a muscle degeneration. That means there is no strength in the muscles. Next side effect is, adverse effect is rhabdomyolysis. It means the breakdown of skeletal muscles. Next, plasma creatinine kinase levels should be determined regularly. We have to determine the plasma creatinine levels. Okay, these are the adverse effects of statins. Next, drug interactions. Statins along with warfarin. If we take statins along with warfarin, it increases the levels of warfarin. It causes hemorrhagic effect. Warfarin is a drug of anticoagulant. So that it causes the hemorrhagic effect. Okay, statins, while we are taking statins and we are taking warfarin too, it increases the warfarin effect. So it has no statin effect. It does not decrease the cholesterol level. So do not administer statin along with warfarin. If we administer, what happened means increased levels of warfarin. It leads to hemorrhage. Hemorrhage means increased levels of bleeding. Hemorrhage. Okay, that means clot formation also happen. These are the drug interactions involved in statins. Next, contraindications. Contraindicated in renal and hepatic failure person. It is also contraindicated in pregnancy patients. Contraindicated in renal and hepatic failure persons and pregnancy patients and is nursing mothers, which has breastfeeding mothers. Next, it is contraindicated in children and teenagers. These drugs are contraindicated, that means which are effective in patients of pregnant women. Pregnant women does not take these drugs because it is contraindicated, and it is not administered in patients of renal and hepatic failure persons as well as in children and teenagers. These are the contraindications. Next uses is used to treat hyperlipidemia, which decreases, these drugs decreases the lipid levels, that means it increases the HDL levels. HDL is a good cholesterol. These are about statins. Next, coming to fibrates. This is the second class which is present in your drugs decrease levels of endogenous lipids. Next, fibrates. In this, drugs involve fenofibrates and gemofibrates. In this mechanism, these are the derivatives of fibric acid that decreases the LDL level. Triglyceride means LDL level. It decreases the LDL level and increases the HDL level. These drugs decreases the bad cholesterol and increases the good cholesterol. That means decreasing of LDL levels and increasing of HDL levels. Next, mechanism of action involved in these drugs are PPAR alpha, means peroxisomal proliferate activated receptors. Peroxisomal proliferated activated receptors which are present in lipid metabolism. Alpha. Peroxisomal proliferated activated receptors alpha, which is present in lipids, lipid metabolism, lipid fat and protein metabolism, mainly in liver. It undergoes LDL, LPL, lipoprotein lipase. LPL means lipoprotein lipase. It increases the breakdown of LDL. That means bad cholesterol. Breakdown of bad cholesterol means removing the bad cholesterol and administering of HDL. Next, apoprotein A1. APA1 means apoprotein. Apoprotein A1. It is one of the protein. It increases the HDL level. So that what happened? These two gives the anti-hyperlipidemic activity effect. Okay. Mechanism of action involved is PPAR alpha, that means peroxisomal proliferated activated receptors, which is present in lipid metabolism, fat metabolism and protein metabolism. It activates the LPL, lipoprotein lipase, as well as apoprotein A1. These two are increasing the HDL level. How? Lipoprotein lipase increases the breakdown of LDL, and apoprotein A1 increases the HDL level. These two gives the anti-hyperlipidemia. That means it decreasing the bad cholesterol, that means LDL level, anti-hyperlipidemic activity. Okay, it breakdown is about 40%. It is about 10%, increasing the HDL level up to 10% and break down the LDL level up to 40%. Okay, this is the mechanism of action involved in fibrates. The PPAR alpha, peroxisomal proliferation activated receptors. It is a member of nuclear receptors that are present in lipid metabolism. We are decreasing the lipids now. So, PPAR are the members of nuclear receptors that regulates the lipid metabolism. Next, PPAR functions acts as a ligand activated transcriptional factors. That means it is one of the ligand. PPAR is one of the ligand. It activates the transcriptional factors, that means LPL and the apoprotein. If we are activating the PPAR, what happened? It is a ligand. Imagine it as a ligand, and it activates the LPL, lipoprotein lipase, and the apoprotein A1. So it is a point. PPAR functions as a ligand, activated the transcriptional factors. These two are transcriptional factors which decreases the LDL levels. Transcriptional factors. Okay, this is the mechanism of action of fibrates. Next, coming to pharmacokinetics, it is well absorbed orally, whereas coming to statins, it is well absorbed orally. Some drugs are administered through oral route. Here it is well absorbed orally, it is metabolized in liver and is excreted through urine. Statins are excreted through bile as well as feces. Next, drug interactions involved is fibrates along with statins. Statins is the drugs which are involved in HMG-CoA reductase inhibitor. Fibrates means phenofibrates and gemofibrates along with statins. These drugs, while we are taking with statins, it increases the myopathy and rhabdomyolysis. Myopathy means, already I have discussed, myopathy means muscle degeneration and rhabdomyolysis means breakdown of skeletal muscles. While we are administering these two drugs, it increases the muscle deformities, that is skeletal muscle breakdown. Next, coming to adverse effects. Adverse effects involves GI disturbances, gastrointestinal tract disturbances, that means ulcer formation. In some cases, ulcers will form due to GI disturbances. Next, stomach pain. This is the adverse reactions, and myopathy and rhabdomyolysis. Okay, this. Next, contraindications. Contraindicated in same as like as statins. It is contraindicated in renal and hepatic failure persons. It is contraindicated in pregnancy women and is contraindicated in gallbladder diseases. In some patients having a gallbladder stones, in that patients we can't administer the antihyperlipidemic drugs, especially fibrates. That means phenofibrate and gemofibrates. Next, uses involves used to treat hyperglyceridemia. That means increase the levels of triglycerides. Increase the levels of triglycerides. These drugs, while we are administering these drugs, it decreases the triglyceride levels, leads to decrease in lipid metabolism. Hyperlipidemics means increase the levels of triglycerides, but it is used to treat the hyperglyceridemia. That means it decreasing the fat content. Used to treat hypercholesteremia. That means increased cholesterol. Increased cholesterol level. Next, used to treat hyperlipidemia. That means lipid. Increased levels of lipids. These drugs decreases the hyperlipidemia, hyperglycemia and hypercholesteremia. Next, coming to niacin, nicotinic acid, which are present in HMG-CoA reductase. Drugs decreasing the endogenous lipids. Niacin. The drug involved in niacin is nicotinic acid. Niacin can reduces that means decreasing the LDL level and is most effective agent for increasing HDL level. Okay, mechanism of action involved is here we have seen the mechanism of action in the adipose tissue. This is adipose tissue. Niacin mechanism of action in the adipose tissue. There is a triglycerides. Triglycerides and triglycerides forming the fatty acids. Fatty acids. These fatty acids enters into the liver. These fatty acids enters into the liver. This is liver and here is fatty acid and again gives the triglycerides. This fatty acid gives the triglycerides and form LDL, VLDL, very low density lipoprotein, and releases into the blood. Low density lipoprotein is releases into the blood. Normal mechanism of action is in our body, in the adipose tissue, triglycerides is forming the fatty acids through esterification process. Esterification means it is having both alcohol and acid content. Triglycerides, in the presence of esterification, it forms fatty acids. It undergoes into the liver. Fatty acids is entering into the liver and forms the triglycerides and VLDL levels and releases the LDL levels into the blood. But here what happened means, by administrating the nicotinic acid, that is niacin, it inhibits the esterification as well as triglycerides in the liver, so that no conversion of triglycerides into the fatty acid. If it is converted, if it is entered into the fatty acid in liver, then what happened? Nicotinic acid administration. So triglyceride will block, so that no formation of VLDL and no release of LDL levels into the blood. Okay, this is the mechanism of action. Here we have seen niacin inhibits lipolysis, that means esterification. Lipolysis means breakdown of lipids, or it is also called as esterification. Niacin inhibits esterification in the adipose tissue. Already I have explained the primary processor of primary free fatty acids. Adipose tissue is the primary processor for the formation of free fatty acids. The liver normally utilizes the circulating fatty acids from the adipose tissue to liver, entering the fatty acid. As a result, precursor of triacyl glycerol synthesis may happen. Thus, niacin causes a decreased liver triacyl glycerol synthesis, which is required for VLDL. Understand? Niacin inhibits the esterification, that means lipolysis as well as triglycerides, which are present in the liver, so that no formation of low density lipoprotein. This is the mechanism of action of niacin. Next, pharmacokinetics. Pharmacokinetics is administered orally. Niacin is also administered orally. It is converted into the body. In the body, it is converted into the nicotinamide, which is incorporated into cofactor nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. It is Na-D+. In the body, nicotinic acid is converted into the nicotinamide. It and undergoes Na-D+. Next, it is excreted through urine. Adverse effects includes pruritus. It means itchy skin. There is a rashes in the skin. Next, darkening of urea. By administration, over administration of nicotinic acid undergoes darkening of urea, nausea and abdominal pain. These are the adverse effects. Next, drug interactions include niacin along with statins. Statin is a drug of HMG-CoA reductase inhibitor. While we are administering these two, it causes the hepatic toxicity. Hepatotoxicity means liver toxicity. While we are administering the niacin along with HMG-CoA reductase inhibitor, that is fluvastatin, simvastatin, atorvastatin, these drugs, it causes the hepatotoxicity. Uses. Use it to treat decreasing the LDL levels. That means niacin lowers plasma levels of both cholesterol and triglycerol. Triglycerol means which are involved in VLDL, LDL, triglycerides and cholesterol. It increases the heart problems, angina, like that. But here, these drugs, while we are administering these drugs, it decreases the cholesterol level as well as LDL and VLDL levels. Therefore, it particularly useful in the treatment of hyperlipidemia. Because of decreasing the cholesterol level, these drugs used as a hyperlipidemia. Next, niacin also used to treat other severe hypercholesteremias. It decreasing the LDL levels, means it is decreasing the coronary artery disease. It is used to treat pellagra. It is a pellagra is a disease which is skin problems, irritation of the skin. That's it.